In this video, I'm going to show you how to get Battlefield 2 Modern Combat working online on a PAL console. Up until now, it's only really worked on the NTSC version of the game. There were workarounds that we found where we could essentially get the NTSC copy working on a PAL console. But this version actually uses the PAL console and a PAL disc. For those of you that don't know what I'm talking about with PAL, basically it's the European or Australian or really most regions outside of Japan and America. So like I said, there were other workarounds for this, but this is by far the simplest method, and it doesn't require too much fancy stuff. You don't have to burn discs or use the NTSC version because that's kind of hard to track down. Most people who are in a PAL region are going to have pretty easy access to the PAL discs. For this method, all you really need is MC McBoot and a little cheat script. So let me first of all show you a very quick demonstration of how this method works, and then we'll get into what you need and how to set it all up. Navigate down to ULaunch ELF. Access a USB thumb drive which has cheat device pre-prepared. We launch the cheat device ELF, and that allows us to put in a pretty simple cheat code which I'll show on screen very soon. So with the cheat code enabled, essentially all you do then is launch the disk, pop down the tray to start up your game, and that's really all you need to do in terms of actually bypassing the DNAS. The cheat code essentially does the work for us here. The important part is the DNAS authentication screen. On a standard PAL console and PAL disc, you'll not get past this screen. Only the NTSC version we have bypasses. But with the code we just entered, we can get straight past this part and into the OpenSpy area where we can actually start to put in our username details. In terms of the equipment we need, it kind of goes without saying, but you'll need your PAL disc, your PAL console, and then free McBoot, which you can get on Amazon or eBay. It ranges anywhere between £10 and £15, so they're not too hard to come by. You'll also need 2 blank memory cards. I've seen these for about £4 on eBay. I tend to buy the ones that say Magic Gate on the front because they seem to work the best when it comes to saving account information. I've heard people having problems in the past storing usernames and things like that on these if they don't say Magic Gate, so just buy them to be sure. The other thing you'll need is a USB, purely to put the actual cheat code on there. I'll show you how to set your USB up in a little minute. And finally, of course, you'll need an Ethernet cable. I'm using the PS2 Slim. It's a little bit easier to get online, but just bear in mind, back in the day, the PS2 did not have wireless internet that I ever knew of, so you'll need to go old school and just remember that you'll need an internet cable to get online. So in terms of setting this all up, McBoot just works right out of the box. You just buy that memory card, put it in your PS2, and you just now have a new menu when you turn on your PS2. And that'll allow us to actually launch the ULF or ULaunch ELF, and then the cheat device will be able to be launched from there. So there's no real setup required there. The other 2 memory cards, your actual network settings, I'm not going to dwell on because I'm going to have a whole new separate video to show you how to set up new network settings, which we're getting very close to launching. But I also have a previous video if you want to watch that to get your network settings. And then also your username, you'll probably not set that up until you actually bypass the DNAS anyway. So that can all be just set up on your PS2. It's really as simple as putting an email address and a password and a username. So there's no point in covering that. So the real main thing that we have to set up now is our actual USB. So let me show you how to set that up. So I'm going to provide a link to where you can download the cheat device for yourself if you want to actually set it up. I'll also provide a link of just what the files I have on my memory card. So it's just a complete copy of my memory card, and then you don't really have to do any setting up. But just in case you prefer to set this up on your own and not use mine, if you download it from the website, what you'll actually have is a bunch of cheats in here that are not applicable to us. We don't need any of this stuff. It's all for different games. My notepad file is purely just the cheat you need for Battlefield, so it just saves you having to like browse through hundreds of games to get to what you actually need. I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to Electro8, You Soy Nacho and OFTF. They really were the ones that developed this cheat code, so I couldn't have done this without you. But I'll flash the cheat code up on screen now if you even want to take it down. I'll also put this in the description too. While I was working on this video, Electro8 actually uploaded his own Google Docs tutorial, so I will link to that in the description of the video. This information is also going to be on the Discord support section, and if you have any problems, the Discord group is actually a great place to get some support. So let's do one more run through. Now that we have everything we need, let me just talk you through the exact steps you now need to take now that you have everything set up. So I take my FreeMic boot and I usually put it in the second memory card slot, and then I take my memory card that has my network settings and plug it into the first slot, and then with the lid open and with the USB with the cheat code on it, I turn my PS2 on. Then we just go down to U Launch ELF, press circle for the file browser, then go down to mass, that's for your mass storage USB. Select cheat device and then run the cheat device.elf. Once this loads up, the only thing that should load up is the Battlefield 2 Modern Combat cheats. You just have to select them to activate them. Once it's yellow like that, it's activated. Then I'll just say start game. If you press start, press on the disk and then it'll just tell you to insert your disk. At this point I just pretty much close the disk and then press start at the same time roughly. Then your game should start up and just go through the normal startup procedure. I play at 50 Hertz. I'm not sure if that makes any difference. Your language should be set to English. That's one quirk with the code. It only currently works with the English language, but once it actually loads everything up and you get online, you can change your language afterwards. We are working on a code that will work with all languages, so keep an eye out on the Discord if the code changes. So as long as your network settings have been previously set up, they should load up, and just hit X to load your settings and it should bypass the DNAS. If you get any sort of error code or you don't pass the DNAS, and you're stuck, probably put a comment in the video or again check the support, but this should let you bypass with no problems. I haven't had a problem with it yet. So at this point, once it asks you to log on, you'll need to pull out your network memory card and then put in a different one that we're going to use to set up your account, or just load up a previously set up account. If you haven't set up an account yet, you can just follow the steps right here and create a new account. Or if you do, then if you already have an account, then just load that account up. And as you can see here, everything works for me. I can search for servers and it should connect. As long as you have the correct DNAS network settings, you should find our servers. If you can't find our servers, then the code may have changed, and if it has, then please contact us on the Discord. But that's really it for this tutorial. I hope this method works for you. It's worked for me every time. I've never had an issue with it. So hopefully it does for you too. If you are having problems, then feel free to comment, or again, check the Discord. Thanks for watching.